When I was a kid, I remember watching Happy Feet and thinking it was the deepest thing I'd ever seen, and it made me depressed for weeks. And then I remember seeing Surf's Up and it being just another mid-movie. Now, neither of them compare to the far superior SpongeBob SquarePants movie, which came out in 2004, but that's neither here nor there. Mind you, since the day I've seen Happy Feet, I've told everyone, oh my god, Happy Feet, didn't that blow your mind? It's the deepest movie I've ever seen. I can't believe it went so hard for a kid's movie. I had been a Happy Feet stan up until recently when I rewatched both Happy Feet and Surf's Up back to back. And now as an adult, I conclude that Happy Feet is actually an uncanny, confused, offensive at times nightmare, while Surf's Up is a genuinely one-of-a-kind movie and the jokes still hit. So come with me on this journey to settle once and for all why Surf's Up absolutely mogs Happy Feet. We were having penguin fever in the mid-2000s. March of the Penguins came out in 2005, Madagascar 2005, Happy Feet 2006, Surf's Up 2007. Why did we like penguins so much in the 2000 whatevers? We were so obsessed with this big cultural push to save the ice caps and save the polar bears and save the penguins. And don't look at the war in Iraq or Afghanistan right now, please. Comparing the two movies side by side, they both had a budget of $100 million. Surf's Up was made by Sony, Happy Feet was made by George Miller and distributed by Warner Bros. Happy Feet won Best Oscar for Animated Picture, and Surf's Up lost to Ratatouille. Clearly, Surf's Up didn't realize that rats were the new meta in 2007. Happy Feet was made by George Miller, who, yes, is the same director as the Mad Max franchise. At first, I was like, okay, that makes no sense, but when you think about it, Mad Max and Happy Feet are actually very similar. Desolate wasteland, environmental catastrophes, motorcycles and penguins. Did you know that you can thank 9/11 for Happy Feet? Yes, 9/11.
9/11.
Because Mad Max Fury Road was actually supposed to be the movie that George Miller was going to release in 2006, but the lead up to the Iraq War and travel restrictions actually put a stop to Mad Max. So George Miller had to focus on Happy Feet. Similar to Mad Max, there's an environmental desolation aspect, except in Happy Feet, it's very much slapped on at the end, and you can tell. And George Miller has said in interviews that it was kind of an afterthought to make it about environmentalism. This was originally supposed to be a family movie about singing penguins, but somehow it becomes Look, let's just get into the plot and you'll see how that pans out. The movie starts out with a medley of different soulful 80s songs. For some reason, we have Hugh Jackman playing this Elvis penguin.
I'm feeling so lonely, baby.
I have no idea why they had him do an Elvis thing or why they thought Hugh Jackman was the person to be an Elvis, but there's a lot of weird casting decisions. Norma Jean, opposite of the Elvis penguin named Memphis, is played by Nicole Kidman.
Don't have to be.
They share a nice romantic little song in the intro, and their romance is born. By the way, the penguins are way too hyper-realistic. It makes me so uncomfortable. For this, they mocapped humans acting like penguins. Extra realism. Why? Why did you need the movement for the penguins to be human-like? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Almost every single animal is a little too uncanny. It's like that hyper-realistic dog suit, that guy who did the hyper-realistic dog. Feels like there's a human in a penguin skin suit. It's uncanny. It makes me uncomfortable, and I wish it would stop. Then we cut to my favorite scene, which I feel like the movie starts off really strong because the mom goes off for fishing season, the dad stays home to take care of their egg, and they have this like crazy chanting religious musical aspect of it where all of like the dads are huddled together with their eggs, and the great northern lights, the great northern lion comes up in the sky.
Get it twisted. Your actions impact nothing. Your fate is predetermined.
And create this big penguin. The great Gwyn is who they worship. The elder penguin is like Scottish for some reason. It's really stunning. But key moment here, Hugh Jackman drops his egg. And fact check, the egg would have actually frozen. So there goes, movie's over. He gets the egg back and acts like nothing happened. That was not an insignificant egg drop. The egg ends up hatching, the family's reunited, but this penguin, instead of singing like the rest of the penguins, it dances, it taps. Mumble being played by Elijah Wood.
Thanks, Ma.
Very Frodo-coded. Fun fact, this actually released on Boxing Day in Australia, which for the past 3 years had been when Lord of the Rings would release. So this is The Hobbit as penguins. Mumble cannot sing. They try and take him to a specialist.
Sing!
George Miller, it feels like he's trying to say a lot with this. The fact that he tap dances and society is like, you can't tap dance, that goes against our laws and our religion.
I wouldn't do that around folk, son. It just ain't penguin, okay?
A penguin without a heart song is hardly a penguin at all.
It feels very like hip hop is not real music.
The wee hippity hopper.
Like that's the vibe you kind of get from the characters. So it feels like a weird kind of classist, conservative perspective of like you shouldn't be able to dance. It's like giving kind of Footloose in a way. But apparently in Happy 2, Mumble's kid can't dance. So it's like, okay, what all right, we're not doing Happy Feet 2 right now. But either way, I just don't buy it. It's just not fleshed out. It's like a bunch of, George Miller will throw out a thing and you're supposed to be like, oh, whoa, this says a lot about society. So Mumble almost gets attacked by this swarm of birds. They're charmingly like The Sopranos. It's very gabagool coded.
The flipper boys, that's you, eat the fish.
And then he realizes that one of the birds has a little thing on its foot. The bird goes into a thing about how he had got abducted by aliens, and that's why he got the thing on his foot. Aliens being humans. So this is the first introduction of humans. We've heard a little bit about how there's less and less fish, and here we're like hearing about aliens, and we're slowly going to hear more and more about the aliens as time goes on. Time jump, as Mike's Mike would say, this kind of pissed me off. Mumble stays as like a kid penguin feathers. He stays like gray fluffy instead of like maturing like the others. Like I feel like they really do not talk about that enough. Like he definitely has some sort of like genetic...
But I'm a genetic freak! And I'm not normal.
Clearly, like, his egg got frozen and shit, but I don't know. It's just kind of the lack of conversation, the lack of to-do about the fact that Mumble, his feathers did not mature, is kind of pisses me off. Mumble's still doing his dancing thing. By the way, he's trying to court this girl penguin. The girl penguins, oh my god. Other thing, the penguins are so horny in this. All the songs are about, like, trying to have...
Let's talk about eggs, baby!
Huh? The female penguins are weirdly, like, busty. They're definitely doing, like, a Disney drawing animals type situation here. They tried to make the penguins a little goonable, while also being hyper-realistic, so it doesn't... Could you imagine if they actually made the penguins, like, gooner-pilled? Like, let me show you my idea of if Disney had made this movie. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. No one tell Judy Hopps lover 69. Then Mumble later on gets chased down by a leopard seal, and it looks terrifying. It's like Eldritchian horror type situation. As a kid, this terrified me. This is why it definitely like made me a little depressed. Like I got a little sad after, because I'm like, that's terrible that penguins actually have to go through that. Y'all, we're about to introduce some characters that the chances of this movie getting good drastic go down.
Drastic go down!
White boy penguin meets a crowd of swaggy Latino homies.
Oh, no, come on, bring it on!
One of them, the lead, might I add, is Robin Williams. Their whole interaction is very like, okay, white boy has swag.
Hey, amigo, do that again! This guy is so accidentally cool.
Okay, so he meets these penguins known as the Amigos. They have their little time. He realized they have a different way of life. Again, what is George Miller trying to say here? Why are the little penguins Latino? Why do they care about rock over singing? Rocks is like a biological thing for these penguins. Singing is definitely not a biological thing for emperor penguins, which is Mumble. What's going on here? We get to the most insane part. They're just randomly going down this slope and kind of caused like a mini avalanche, and an excavator, like construction excavator, falls out of the glacier. And they're like, oh my god, humans have been here. But watching it back today, I'm like, What? Why is there an excavator in the middle of a glacier? It's like a woolly mammoth that got frozen there. What excavators are in Antarctica and why are they just trapped in a fucking glacier? George Miller, answer for your crime. Mumble sees the excavator. He realizes clearly it is tied to the aliens that we heard about before, aka humans. They go to this truth teller to ask about who the aliens are named Lovelace. We realize that Lovelace has been narrating this story the entire time. Lovelace is very clearly coded as a soulful, truth-telling black man.
The one and only Lovelace.
Speak to me, oh mystic being!
He is voiced by, of course, say it with me, Robin Williams.
It's got to be almost like a Barry White because you have like that hair, the hair standing up, and you got to make him sexy.
Robin, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Lovelace gives Mumble a very wishy-washy answer. Clearly, he's some sort of snake oil situation.
Too many questions! You don't have enough pebbles, fool!
Snake oil salesman. I thought he was a snake oil penguin. Penguin, hardly know Gwen. Mumble goes and tries to impress Gloria with his singing, which actually isn't his singing, it's Ramon. Now we get to the part where I think the original ending was supposed to happen of Happy Feet.
Sing to this!
He starts dropping a beat with his feet, with his happy feet. No. Mumble gets everyone to start dancing. It becomes this whole to-do with the elders who are like, this is against our way. They blame Happy Feet for causing the fish famine. And he's like, actually, no, I have it on good authority that it's actually aliens. They go back and forth, and then the dad comes up and is like, son, stop it. And he's like, that kid's not right. And everyone's like, why? And the dad is like, it's because I dropped you when you were little. And everyone's like, oh, big gas. Mumble's like, okay, I'm gonna find the aliens and try and talk with them. This is where the narrative just completely goes from singing penguins trying to accept a dancing penguin to now we're going to solve global warming. Except it's not global warming, it's overfishing in the Antarctic. Which I don't know, is that a big thing? Is that a big thing? It definitely should have ended. It should have been like, everyone should have wrapped it up and been like, oh my God, yay. We believe in dancing now. Instead, Mumble goes to find the aliens and find the source of where the fish have come from. And yes, he is going to be bringing his amigos. So they go to see Lovelace because supposedly he is an alien abductee and he should have some real knowledge about aliens, right?
Knowledge.
And the thing that's around Lovelace's neck, which he had originally said was like a talisman or something, is actually choking him. He tells them that the aliens actually gave it to him and they are beyond the land of the elephant seals. So they go to the land beyond the elephant seals. A weird lingering plot point from before this was an environmental movie. Gloria comes and tries to convince him that she needs to go with them, and then he just is kind of an asshole to her to protect her or whatever.
That was a good thing you do.
The elephant seals are Australian, and one of them is actually voiced by Steve Irwin, so that's really stunning.
Waste every living thing in their path.
No notes. Then they come across what can only be described as like a church and graveyard settlement in Antarctica. And then they get attacked by some orcas, which is another uncanny, really scary situation, y'all. But Lovelace gets his trash thing taken off of him, so that's very nice. We love that. Then the orcas get scared away because of a ship freighter that just goes through the iceberg in Antarctica. So many questions. What was this ship freighter transporting? Excavators to hide in the ice? It's so much like humans bad. Big ship come through, disrupt food chain. Mumble decides to keep going even though the rest of the group is like, no, you're insane. And for some reason there's big fishing right off the coast of Antarctica. Is this true? He goes so far that he gets captured and put into a zoo in Florida. This is what gave me existential dread as a kid.
After 3 months, he would all but lose his mind.
He starts having hallucinations. His crash out should be studied. Bro is crashing out. Can't let gang know I'm crashing out like this, etc., etc. You can tell the humans are live action, but they added like a filter to kind of make them look more animated. I don't like it. It makes me even more uncomfortable. They made humans uncanny in the other direction. I don't like it. Anyway, Mumble, after being trapped there for 3 months, does his little dance thing. And I just need y'all to see this sequence of whenever everyone sees that he's dancing. Get on the phone. You need to buy penguin stock. It's going up. It's going up. The crowd that is formed is so quick and so insane to watch this penguin do a little dancey. Hard cut. Mumble gets back home from Antarctica. We don't see this journey at all. He just shows up. Time has passed, right? Gloria is actually with this other guy. Mumble's totally been cucked.
You remember Seymour?
Yeah, hi Seymour.
The elders are still like, you're crazy. He's on and on about his aliens. He makes up with his dad. And then the final situation is where I'm like, okay, this is trash, because he has an antenna connected to him, and that's supposedly how the humans found him. So I'm guessing they just let him go off the coast of Florida, and then he swam there, and then they tracked him down. The humans land in their helicopter. Happy Feet gets everyone to do the dance. The humans like the dance. It gets posted on social media, and y'all need to watch. All the human sequences are the most insane that you'll ever see.
Are they trying to tell us something?
So what's the problem? Well, among other things, we are messing with their food chain.
And we have got to do something about it. We suggest a ban on all marine harvesting.
They're trying to tell us something. We're messing with their food chain. We're banning all fishing. Y'all...
Why should we do anything at all?
What? The UN does a ban on all fishing in Antarctica? What about the fishing in the rest of the world? What about the Surf's Up penguins? Is there fishing off the coast of Hawaii?
Just a bunch of flightless boys at the bottom of the world.
That just scratches my brain. Bunch of flightless boys at the bottom of the world. Like, that's the case against them. He's the only guy. There's protests. There's rioting in the streets. There's police with riot gear. Perhaps the most 2006 movie I've ever seen. If I were to give Happy Feet an out of 10 score, I'd probably say 4. It had some good musical moments, but everything else in general, I was just uncomfortable by this whole movie. Let's check out Surf's Up. Okay, maybe I was a little harsh on Happy Feet. It had some moments. It was good for what it was. Happy Feet took a lot of swings. It impacted me as a child, and it was a children's movie. So, as a child, I'd give it a 9. So let's average my 4 and a 9, and that's math. Let's get into the movie that I feel holds up a little bit better, Surf's Up, the other Penguin movie that came out just a year after. And yes, they were scared that Penguins Mania had been dying off. However, it still did a pretty good performance as well. What's really stunning about Surf's Up is that it is the only animated mockumentary movie. There's probably another one out there, but from what I could find online, it's the only major motion picture, one of the few animated mockumentary things in general. It looks like DreamWorks did an Inside Out mockumentary series, and then of course the other one is going to be Cartoon Network's Total Drama. The marketing for Surf's Up was quite stunning. They made a new Airheads flavor, and I think that's what touched my childhood heart with this movie. If they're going to make a pineapple Airheads flavor, I owe it to them to see their movie. They also had a bunch of plushies from the movie. They had a Cody Maverick Build-A-Bear. I have a Build-A-Bear right here. I thought she was done, but she had more to say. What do these movies have in common other than penguins? Horny. Both have horny penguins. Other than that, they couldn't be more different. Happy Feet says, save the penguins, their ice caps are melting. Surf's Up says, it's all good. They'll just have more surfing opportunities because there will be more Hawaii type land for them to surf on. Surf's Up has nice, cute, cartoony penguins, while we've got that weird uncanny valley situation with Happy Feet. So let's just get into the plot of Surf's Up, shall we? Surf's Up stars Cody Maverick, who is voiced by Shia LaBeouf. Cody lives in Shiverpool. It is a small town in Antarctica. He's always loved surfing. Everyone else in his town does not love surfing. He's kind of picked on by the rest of his town. It's a lot like Happy Feet, and where he's kind of the odd one out.
I just surf. Loser.
We also learn in this kind of opening sequence that Cody's hero is Big Z, who is this surfing legend.
Big Z is surfing, man. I mean, he's
There may well has not been an ocean before Z's.
Big Z was like the #1 surfer until he mysteriously died. Cody's got one of his like trademark Big Z necklaces that he always wears because Big Z is his hero. Let me just say, this is such a good study in parody. I think it's so funny that they just basically took a human surfing documentary and made it about penguins. We get to the point where the big recruitment tour comes. You meet the big antagonist known as Tank.
Role model. No, but I do consider myself somebody that everyone should look up to.
We also have Chicken Joe, voiced by Napoleon Dynamite.
You gotta try this blowhole thing, man.
Very 2007 movie. And we have Zooey Deschanel as the love interest, who, yes, they did make her a little bit sexy. So when we start off with this global recruiting tour, we get to meet my favorite character, which I feel like Surf's Up was ahead of its time for introducing this character, because this is the classic disrespected gay assistant character who ends up doing all the work.
I find these penguins. I find the talent. The stress is killing me.
I used to scout songbirds. Toucans for this musical review in Brazil. Now that's show business.
Come on. Queer coding was queer coding, and the codes were queered. Cody gets on the whale. He ends up making it. He meets Chicken Joe. They quickly make a friendship. Cody is introduced to the idea that surfing should just be kind of chill, because Cody takes surfing very, very seriously. Take that and remember it. Cody gets all the way to Hawaii, and he meets Tank.
Yes! Hey. Oh. Every time.
Hey, so stop it. Cut it out.
It's giving butch. It's giving would call me a slur. It's giving mommy issues. It's giving no internal work done.
He's a big zero.
Your mouth.
Zero starts with Z.
You'll never be as good as Big Z, stink. I'll take you on anytime, anywhere.
How about right here, right now?
Since Tank was disrespecting Big Z, they go one-on-one, and Cody is clearly out of his depth. Cody loses, obviously, because it's like the first little situation. They replay him falling off the wave a bunch of times. I don't know. Really funny. Just a good little gag. They like to have fun here. After Cody's knockout, the waves push him against the rocks and also against some sea urchins. He gets resuscitated by Zooey Deschanel Gooner Penguin. She takes him to her uncle named Zeke, who lives in the woods. Since Cody had been stabbed by a sea urchin.
Looks like you stepped on a fire urchin.
Stepped on me. This guy was dancing on me.
I'm pretty sure the thing is to pee on it. And that's what Zeke said. Yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack. There's a Gooner penguin. There's penguins peeing on each other. It's a movie. As Cody leaves Zeke's the next morning, Zeke notices that there's a really stunning log that's really good for making surfboards out of, and he tells Cody that they should make one together. Zeke tries to connect with Cody, talks to him about surfing. Clearly Cody's on for the winning, and Zeke is kind of annoyed with Cody. Zeke tries to move this log and accidentally gets them both tumbling towards a beach. Meanwhile, we start our B-plot where Chicken Joe is looking for Cody. He's just a laid-back guy. He's a real laid-back guy. He's just like the waves, man. We got some weed references.
Probably you got the munchies or something.
Again, 2007. But surprisingly, not that offensive for a 2007 movie. There's a little situation upcoming, but for the most part, it's not as bad. You know, other animated movies from 2007, I would guess, would have more offensiveness to it all. Anyway, Cody goes down to the beach. Cody realizes that Zeke actually is Big Z, and he's been in hiding. So Cody's like, oh my God, you're Big Z. He kind of does a little fanboy out, and he forces Big Z to kind of teach him the ways. Big Z shows him how to make a board and how to be patient. Big Z teaches him about riding in the tube. It's very surfing. There's a lot of surfing situations, but I appreciate the movie holding my hand, someone who doesn't know anything about surfing, and teaching me about surfing as this goes. It doesn't feel like it's too much of a surfation situation. We cut back over to Tank talking about polishing his trophies.
This is Teresa right here.
Now, is that your
dirty girl?
Clearly a little gooning metaphor, and his mom like walks in while he's polishing his trophies.
Eat late.
Tank, are you polishing your trophies again?
Fun little bits. We got some. This has it all. This has something for the kids and something for daddy too. Something for mommy and daddy as well. Okay, then we get a little problematic. Chicken Joe gets captured by the natives.
I'm Chicken Joe.
Hey.
You know, they treat me as their king and put me in a hot tub. It was, I guess, their royal hot tub.
It's like a Scooby-Doo captured by the natives and put on a spit roast situation, and they're gonna cook him up. And 2007, Chicken Joe makes friends with them. What's fun about this part is that the cameraman gets stabbed by one of these native penguins. There's a bunch of really fun fourth wall breaking moments like that in this movie.
He's hurt.
Those guys.
They're with him. Ignore them.
And I think that's what makes this special. The fact that they really had to go in there and animate as if a cameraman had been hit by a spear. Cody starts to get closer with the Zooey Deschanel Gooner penguin. This is how I thought The Happy Feet was going to pan out. Like a family love story where there's just two penguins the way God intended, a man penguin and a woman penguin just surfing together. And one of them is maybe a little horny. Cody finally finishes his training. He's ready for the big competition. We get there's a lot of little surfing montages, nice beachy, Beach Boys type music. Fun for the whole family, something for daddy. Fun for the whole family, something for daddy. Now in this final on the beach scene with Zeke actually reveals why he disappeared, and it's because he felt like a loser because he knew he was going to lose to Tank. So he purposefully just kind of disappeared and has been in hiding ever since. Obviously, this really, really upsets Cody. They get into a big argument about what surfing should be. Obviously, Cody is really into the fact that it should just be about winning, and Cody storms off all pissed off at Zeke. And we actually have a really touching moment here.
If it's hard enough losing one dad, but
What do you mean by this?
nothing.
Cody goes back to the competition. On the way, he gets captured by the native penguins, and Chicken Joe gets Cody out. Then they go to the competition. It's big. The competition's got everything. It's dramatic, it's dark, it's stormy. Cody and Chicken Joe are actually doing really, really well. Tank has a big wipeout and is in last. Tank does the little cheating situation, pushes Cody into the boneyard, the place where supposedly Big Z had died previously. Big Z comes out of nowhere and is actually here to save Cody, so Cody does not face certain death. Tank does the wipeout, gets saved by the Gooner penguin. Sorry, I'm objectifying this penguin woman. This nice lady, Zooey Deschanel penguin. Everyone is like, oh my god, Z is still alive, and Chicken Joe wins.
I won?
We love it. We end with Big Z being like, come on everyone, let's just go. I saw some waves, let's go. Just chill out. Let's just have a good time. And then one of my favorite parts, the gay assistant actually quits and he's like, I can't imagine a better day. Yay. And you know what? That's the end. No big concept. Surf's Up is really a movie about just being true to yourself and realizing that winning isn't everything, and it's more about the friends we made along the way. And hey, maybe that's a little bit of a simple plot, but I would rather have that than love story about someone who can tap dance instead of singing, but then also there's a global warming, but not global warming, overfishing aspect that happens at the very end that is very slapped on. I don't know. Surf's Up pretty much holds up for the most part. I give it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. You don't watch something from 2007 very much and the jokes just still hit like that. So for that, yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I'm going to keep the Happy Feet score at like a 6. They both are about penguins, and they both are a little weirdly horny. They both have a little something for daddy. You know, y'all, if this gets enough views, unfortunately, there is a Happy Feet 2, and there is a Surf's Up 2 that is produced by WWE. So if this does well, I'm unfortunately going to have to subject myself to those two. They look really bad. And yeah, Surf's Up.